العليم من شر الشيطان الرجيم وكيده ومكائده ومن الثقة بأمانيه ومواعيده وغروره. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الحمد لله رب العالمين، الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية مولى الموحدين إمام المتقين يعصوب الدين قائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب أولاده المعصومين عليهم السلام. ونصلي ونسلم على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين العبد المؤيد الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد أبي القاسم وأبي الزهراء محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الهداة المهديين لا سيما الحجة بقية الله الأعظم في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Again, apologies for being late. Inshallah, presenting to you two topics which one supposedly was about the letter number 23 of Nahj al-Balagha, right? Yes, since today is the Walada, I don't think this is because Shi'atuna خلقوا من فاضل طينتنا يفرحون بفرحنا ويحزنون بحزننا. This is the day of Khushhali and Surur and Eid. So going through that again, yes, I'm just explaining. And inshallah, until then we decide what will happen. But right now we are going to work on the dua of Tawbah in Sahifat al-Sajjadiyya. Sahifat al-Sajjadiyya is one of the unique books that is there because it has been said by an imam, it is written down by another imam, and it has been narrated throughout or published by another imam. Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam recited these du'as. His son Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam took notes of these du'as, and at the time of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam it published. Because there are two versions of Sahifa. One was in the hand of Zayd ibn Ali, and one in the hand of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. At the time of Imam al-Sadiq, these two versions become available to for one person. He did a comparison, found out that both versions are identical. The version that we have, according to some, is the version of Zayd ibn Ali, which is identical to the version of Imam Sadiq. Anyhow, there is a differ between dua and munajat. Alhamdulillah, from Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, we received lots of rich content, not just in dua. Lots of people consider or imams focused on one aspect, but that is incorrect. That is not true. Or imams had multitasking in different angles, even though at the time of Imam Zain al-Abidin the imamah, the wilaya, was in maybe the hardest time and dire situation. throughout the entire time of Imam. The oppression, the security, everything was in the hardest situation. But so Imam alayhi salam had one Risalat al-Huquq about the rights, mutual rights of not just people, things as well, your a'mal, the tongue, the different elements, not just people, because when we talk about rights, usually we refer to people. So Imam alayhi salam has the lifestyle, special lifestyles in training and educating people, even with that hardship, in that hard situation, because Imam alayhi salam couldn't have normal companions, couldn't train because of the security situation. So one of the ways, for example, Imam alayhi salam was training and publishing the ma'arif of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam was by buying a servant which he didn't need, train them for 1 year, setting them free afterward. It came to a situation that they said in the city of Medina, a big portion of people, of free people, were freed by Ali ibn al-Husayn alayhi salam. So Imam alayhi salam has different du'as and munajat. We have 15, at least 15 munajat from Imam alayhi salam. What is the difference between dua and munajat? There are different, come from different root, which is the whispered part came from. Munajat came from root najwa. Najwa means whispering. But when whispering, not in any manner, whispering in the terms of closeness. I'm talking in this pitch right now. If I start talking like that, it would be whispering, right? But it is not najwa. I'm just lowering my voice. I'm not doing najwa. Najwa indicates of a sort of intimacy between two parties of najwa. We have in certain warakatul mujadala ayat of najwa. One ayah number, I think 9 or 10 says, إنما النجوى من الشيطان ليحزن الذين آمنوا. Najwa, whispering, is from, why? Because he wants to upset those who have faith, believers. What is the connection between whispering and upsetting someone else? Okay, it is so close that you can't resist. What about upsetting someone else?
They do things against their wishes.
Not just against their wishes. When two people are doing a whispering in a gathering and they look at someone, or they mention someone with their hands, indicate to someone, that third person thinks that they are talking, whispering about him or her, right? This creates a sadness. إنما النجوى من الشيطان ليحزن الذين آمنوا. And this example is for two normal person. Imagine if one of these parties is Rasulullah, the Messenger of Allah. So, one differ is in the root. Najwa is the root. Dua The root of dua is da'wah. Da'wah means calling, asking. Based on this, we can come to a conclusion that the essence of najwa is different, or munajat, sorry, the essence of munajat is different than the essence of dua. In munajat, there is a communication, but in dua there is asking, I want something. The nature of these two are different. Even though there are sometimes integrated, for example, in Dua Abu Hamza al-Thamali, in Dua al-Kumayl, in Dua al-Kumayl at the beginning, we say, Allahumma aghfir li adh-dhunub allati tahtiku al-asam, tunzilu al-nagam. Oh Allah, forgive me my sins. This is dua. In the middle, we say what? فَلَئِنْ صَيَّرْتَنِي لِلْعُقُوبَاتِ مَا أَعْدَائِكَ وَجَمَعْتَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ أَهْلِ بَلَائِكَ وَفَرَّقْتَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ أَحِبَّائِكَ وَأَوْلِيَائِكَ. If you put me in al-fire in Jahannam, let's say I accepted to be there, I tolerated that. How I tolerate being away from you? صبرت على عذابك فكيف أصبر على فراقك. This is not a dua. I'm not asking anything. You say, okay, you put me in Jahannam. How do I tolerate that? Don't put me in Jahannam for my sins is another thing. It is an ask. Imam in this part is not saying that. So munajat is a communication. Gave example study at sometimes you call a friend, somebody, just for communication. It takes 1 hour, 2 hours, right? After that, especially for ladies, it happens. It takes a lot, and husband, the son, some man tells, okay, you talked so much. What did you want? Nothing. The answer is nothing. Okay, but you took 1 hour of his speech. No, just communication. Munajat is a form of communication. Sometimes you want something, you finish that conversation, that call in 30 seconds, although it is very unlikely, but very quick, because you want something. You call, you declare what you want, and go. This is the differ. Dua usually has the insha, I want, I ask, please give me. Different forms of insha, but it has a form of a sort of demanding, asking, wishing, wanting. But usually when we talk in communication way, we have just statements. I did this. I'm going to do this. He said that. She said that. That was how I felt. All these are statements. There is no asking in any of them. And last, dua is being recited whenever we have a need, a desire, a want. So if all of our feels and desires are fulfilled, there will be no need apparently, so there will be no dua. Of course, it is impossible to happen, but let's say hypothetically it happens. But there will be no need for munajat as well. No, it is a instinct. Human beings needs to communicate. That is why it's for dua there have been, nobody said that don't do dua in these times. No. Actually we have quite the opposite. Do dua whenever you need something. Whenever you had a haja, إذا كان لك عند الله حاجتان, do this, recite a salawat, do this, and then say your haja. Right, wrong? But munajat is entirely different story. Look at mafatih in the munajat of Imam Zayn al-Abidin or munajat Sha'baniyya. When it comes to the munajat, we have been instructed to do what? To recite munajat with attention. To start a munajat when we have a good feeling, when we think we are ready. You don't take the phone, call your friend for a communication and then say nothing. A communication requires a preparation. Emotional, mental, spiritual preparation. So munajat cannot be just started with any random situation. No, it requires preparations. There is a difference between dua and hadith. I think we mentioned here. Did we? Hadith is when two human beings or two people in the same position or same kind are talking to each other. Right? Somebody came to Imam, talked to him. That is why, but dua is from somebody who is lower to something who is higher and bigger. From Dani to Ali. That is why in hadith, the audience is very key element. For example, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that نحن معاشر الأنبياء نكلم الناس على قدر عقولهم. We prophets will communicate, will talk to people according to their level of understanding. So prophets are not going to tell anybody anything because people has different levels. But the audience of dua is not like that. Who's the audience of dua? Unlimited being. For that unlimited being, of course, I am a limited, I might look for my usual needs, very normal, ordinary things, because I have an ordinary, normal, a limited view. So I have some basic needs or wants. I'm reaching to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for these. There is no problem in that. There is nothing. But Imam or Prophet, his view definitely is not like me. He sees beyond lots of things. And the barrier was what? Why Prophet couldn't talk to people lots of things? Because they had, the problem was what? Because they had different levels of understanding. So this problem is lifted. This barrier is lifted in communication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet can tell him anything. His real concerns, his views. That is why dua in some levels is a better source for understanding or ma'sumin alayhim salam, their concerns, the idea that they had. For ma'rifah, in some levels, dua is better than hadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the last ayah of Surah Al-Furqan says, قُلْ مَا يَعْبَأُ بِكُمْ رَبِّي لَوْلَا دُعَاؤُكُمْ. If it wasn't for your prayer, my Lord wouldn't have paid any kind of attention to you. That is the only connection to us, from us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dua Tawbah. Tawbah means in lughah, in dictionary, it means to return. And is a 3-stage act. In the first, one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what? Tawwab. Tawwab means what? Not just forgiving, very forgiving. Tawwab is sigha al-mubalagha, means a person who repeatedly doing this forgiving. Does the tawbah. Tawbah means what? I said, returning. So in the first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala returns to the servant, the sinner. In the second, I realized, oh, I did a great thing. Before that, the first return, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old makes a mistake, and they have no interest, there is no notion of that mistake. You have to do something to drag their attention to what you made was a mistake. Then you can expect them to come and apologize, to seek forgiveness. So the first act is that. The second, I realize that I made a mistake. I'm going back to my Lord. He paid attention to me first. He came back to me. I understand my mistake. Second, I'm going back to Him. I'm returning to my Lord. Tawbah, the Tawbah part that we do is that, right? The third is what? His acceptance. Usually Tawbah is done through the word Astaghfirullah or Kalimatul Istighfar, which has been at least 3 different Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah Rabbi, Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. There is a great explanatory hadith about the meaning of istighfar in Nahj al-Balagha from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam to Kumayl ibn Ziyad al-Nakha'i. The saying number 417. Kumayl said, Astaghfirullah. Imam alayhi salam, only I think in 2 places of Nahj al-Balagha. Astaghfirullah yukabiru. Okay, so just saying that person that said Astaghfirullah and Imam replied in such, begin the reply with in such harsh way, that person is not a normal person. That person, because Nahj al-Balagha didn't mention that. That person is Kumayl ibn Ziyad al-Nakha'i. That Imam alayhi salam said, may your mother lose you. Do you know what is the meaning, the true meaning of istighfar? Then Imam alayhi salam explains 7 different layers, the steps for a full istighfar to be taken care of. After that, Imam says, فَعِنْدَ ذَلِكَ تَقُولُ. After doing all of these 7 steps, then you're allowed to say, Astaghfirullah. There are at least 10 du'as in Sahifat al-Sajjadiyya about Tawbah. That is why I was a little confused. They told me talk about Du'a at-Tawbah. We have at least 10 du'as, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them has the title of Tawbah in the title of Du'a. 12, 16, 31, 39. The longest one is number 31. But before we start, the dua number 31, there is a question been asked, why the Imams or Ma'sumin or the Prophets, they do istighfar so much? Don't you say that they were ma'soom, infallibles? So they don't need it apparently, they don't need any mistake or sin. So why they repeat this term, kalimatul istighfar? What is the reason?
Because they think that the ibadah they are doing is not enough if they look at the entity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they think that there is still lacking.
Ahsantu. That is actually the best answer. Yeah. But some says there have been different replies to this question. Some says they weren't talking for themselves. These are being said in order for us to learn. We have in a hadith, I think from Rasulullah, that this world has dust. This dust settles on everybody. I do istighfar to cleanse my heart and soul from the dust of this world. According to some viewpoints, for the guidance of people, not in the teaching manner, no. In some ahadith that we have that Prophet, I think I'm not, Prophet used to invite people to Islam. When they didn't listen to him, he started increasing his ibadat. Reciting the longer Salat al-Layl, doing more tahajjud. About this we have different hadiths. Look at ayah number 2 of Surah Taha. Under that ayah we have different ahadith that the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 10 years he did such ibadah that the finger, his toes and his leg swell. Up until a manner Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down one ayah, Ma anzalna alayka al-Qur'ana litashqa. Taha, Ma anzalna alayka. Or Prophet, we haven't sent down this Qur'an for you. We didn't give you this mission. So you put yourself in such situation, in such hardship. Let go. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling him what you are doing to yourself. How much pressure you are putting on yourself. Why? Because there are some darkness that cannot be lifted without ibadah and dua. Some says that is one of the reasons that Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam Sayyid al-Sajidin alayhi salam was doing lots of ibadah after Karbala. After Karbala, the society was in so dark situation, and also, of course, Imam was under heavy pressure, that the only way Imam could, by himself, lift this darkness was through immerse extensive ibadah. In this viewpoint, that is why the 12th Imam Ajjallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif in lots of tasharrufat and in lots of ahadith is seen in the form of ibadah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was mentioning بِهَذَا أَنْتَقِمْ, we covered that, right? بِهَذَا أَنْتَقِمْ. All the time that light or that person were in form of ibadah. The servant of Imam Hassan al-Askari, salawatullah alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Imam sent him, go to that Sardab, you find a boy, bring him for me. The servant says, I went to that cellar, Sardab. I saw a 5-year-old boy doing sujood, prostration toward Qibla, with his finger toward the sky. I told him, my master calls you, wants to speak with you. He finishes his prayer. All the time we have seen that. Why? The darkness of society, the direness of situation is in such way that cannot be lifted, that cannot be changed except with this extensive ibadah. It would be very good to do a comparison between that saying of Nahj al-Balagha, which was it 417, and dua number 31. Imam alayhi salam in that hadith explained 7 steps, right? Until someone asks for Tawbah, istighfar. Some of them are acts. If you are in debt to someone, repay that and this and that. Some of them are theoretical. Some of them has the form of Tawbah in relation of Abd and Mawla. If we pay attention, we can see all of those communication parts with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the steps of istighfar in dua number 31. The first part of this dua is about explaining divine attributes. Allahumma ya man la yarghabu, Allahumma ya man la yasifuhu na'atul wasifin. Oh Allah, you are the person that nobody can tell your characteristics. Nobody can explain you. وَيَا مَنْ لَا يُجَاوِزُهُ رَجَاءُ الرَّاجِينَ. Everybody has their hope connected and bound to you. وَيَا مَنْ لَا يَضِيعُ لَدَيْهِ أَجْرُ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. The good deeds of muhsinin is not lost in your presence. وَيَا مَنْ هُوَ مُنْتَهَى خَوْفِ الْعَابِدِينَ. You are the utmost level of the worshipper's desire and wish. وَيَا مَنْ هُوَ غَايَةُ خَشْيَةِ الْمُتَّقِينَ. The first 5 parts or verse of this dua is about what? It's just praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which is a very good way, we have that when you want something to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَابْدَأْ بِالثَّنَاءِ عَلَيْهِ. Begin with praising of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second, Imam explains the situation of a sinner. This is my place. هَذَا مَقَامُ مَنْ تَدَاوَلَتْهُ أَيْدِ الذُّنُوبِ. Person who is pinned down by sins. وَقَادَتْهُ أَزِمَّةُ الْخَطَايَا. So shaitan gain authority upon. This is explaining again. So far there is no dua. This is munajat. Imam explaining, oh Allah, you are that, I am this. Then in the verse 8, 7 and 8. In 7, so 6 is what? Is a confession of shortcoming. This is my position. Mistakes I made. 7 will be what? كالجاهل بقدرتك إليه أو كالمنكر فضل إحسانك إليه حتى, this is important part, حتى إذا انفتح له بصر. I was in this state of seeing, of ignorant, until the vision of guidance was opened for me. I understood. I gained sight. فَرَأَى كَبِيرَ عِصْيَانِهِ كَبِيرًا. Then I saw what a great sins I did. وَجَلِيلَ مُخَالِفَتِهِ جَلِيلًا. How great deviation I had to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the step that we said the abd is going to go back. فَأَقْبَلَ نَحْوَكَ. When I realized that servant is coming back, أَقْبَلَ نَحْوَكَ exactly means that. Returns to you. مُؤَمِّلًا لَكَ. So, how he returned? Because when that person when that 2-3-year-old realize that made a mistake, then he wants to come back. So they look down, they look sad, right or wrong? If they are not forced to, this is a symptoms of someone who wants to come back. The coming back has some symptoms, both internal and external, inside and outside. Verse number 8 are about the internal symptoms. How did this servant felt when he wanted to go back to his Lord? What was internal? Number 9 is about the external situation. فَمَثَّلَ بَيْنَ يَدَيْكَ مُتَضَرَّعًا. Standing up in front of you in despair. وَغَمَّضَ بَصَرَهُ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ مُتَخَشَّعًا. Lowers his gaze toward the earth. out of respect, خشوع. وطأطأ رأسه لعزتك, lowered, put down his head in front of your glory, متذللا. وأبثك, then started counting. That is why we see counting in, for example, dua Hamza, Abu Hamza al-Thamali. خيرك إلينا نازل وشرنا إليك صاعد. We see counting in dua al-Arafah. أنت الذي مننت ثم أنا يا إلهي المعترف بذنوبي. أنا الذي تعمدت أنا الذي تجرأت أنا الذي عصيت. In Abu Hamza we have similar terminology. أنا الذي عصيت جبار الطمع أنا الذي حين بشرت بها بادرت إليها. This is me. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. We covered the this is you part at the first 5 verses of this dua. Right now, وَأَبَثَّكَ مِنْ سِرِّهِ وَعَدَّدَ مِنْ ذُنُوبِهِ. He started counting his sins. Then is what? Then is another state. I have no right. Because sometimes somebody comes to apologize, come back, but you did that. You triggered me. Some says that their apology is even passive. They want to apologize and they came for but you did it. You have to admit it was your fault. Maybe it's the similarity between situation of shaitan and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at the terminologies that shaitan used. Rabbi bima aghwaytani. Oh my Lord, because you misguided me. As if it is saying, okay, I was wrong, not listening to your command, not doing obedience, not doing prostration, sujood to this person, this Adam. But it was your fault. This is exactly, shaitan uses this language. Bima aghwaytani. You did this to me. But here, Imam alayhi salam says, no, you have every right. These are the mistakes. I have no right, and you have every right to do whatever you want. I'm not saying that it was your fault, no. The verse number 12, actually, the Tawbah or that dua that we said, it's ask. Right? That wanting, that wishing. Number 12 is the starts. Imam alayhi salam set 11 verse just for preparation, communication. You cannot just call someone and say, I want this. At least you say salam. Salam means what? Peace. At least you start with peace. There are adab for dua, means that. Or time's up, right? So, in 12th part, Imam alayhi salam starts what? Actually, the Tawbah, that part that we see the asking begins. What about number 10 and 11? We said that number 9 is the external situation of a ta'ib, of a person who wants to go back to his Lord. So there is internal, a feeling that the person must have. We have in that hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, al-istighfaru darajatul alliyin wa huwa ismun waqi'un ala sittati ma'an. There are 6 steps. What was the first step? أولها الندم على ما مضى. The first one is what? Remorse. Remorse is internal or external? Remorse is internal feeling. So, number 8 is internal, about hoping. Hoping that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive. Ya's or qant min rahmatullah is the biggest sin. And we have 2 times in Quran that a prophet mentioned it. Once is in the conversation of Nabi Yaqub to his sons. It's a very famous ayah. يا بني اذهبوا فتحسسوا من يوسف وأخيه ولا تيأسوا من روح الله. Don't disappoint from divine mercy. إنه indeed لا ييأس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون. Nobody is going to lose their faith, their hope to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except for kuffar. Then we have another ayah in Surah Al-Hijr. When the angels came to visit Nabi Ibrahim and they gave him that he is a bishara, a promise that he will have a boy. Right? Prophet Ibrahim was surprised because he and his wife both were old, aged. What is this promise that you gave me? They say, بَشَّرْنَاكَ بِالْحَقِّ. This is a true bishara. وَلَا تَكُنْ مِنَ الْقَانِطِينَ. This is the divine bishara, and you don't be from those people who lose their faith, who lose their hope. The reply as Prophet Ibrahim is very important. قال وَمَنْ يَقْنُطُ مِنْ رَحْمَةِ رَبِّهِ إِلَّا الضَّالُّونَ. The person who loses his hope to his Lord is ضال, is deviated. 2 prophets, 2 responsible, losing hope. So number 9 is verse number 9 is about the external situation, how he is doing the Tawbah. So he's doing the Tawbah not on chair, standing up, with eye down, head down, talking to you about his secrets, counting his sins, and reaching to you. وَاسْتَغَاثَ بِكَ مِنْ عَظِيمِ مَا وَقَعَ بِهِ فِي عِلْمِكَ. You know what he did. Now he is saying this because he wants to reach to you, to seek assistance and help from you. Then Imam alayhi salam says, this person is not going to say that you did it. No. لا ينكر يا إلهي عدلك إن عاقبت. If you punish him, he gives all the rights to you. You have every right to do so. لأنك الرب العظيم الذي, because you are the great Lord that forgiving is not that great for? Your greatness is greater, your mercy is greater than forgiving my sins. Number 11 says, okay, look, now I came here with this internal and external, with these steps. Oh Allah, I hope that I am fulfilling that ayah that in Quran that you say, Ud'uni, call upon me, I will. So this shows that there is a connection between how we do these calling. Ayah says, Ud'uni astajib lakum. Call upon me, I will reply to you, I will answer to you. But ayah doesn't specify how. What is this? Okay, how am I going to call you? Okay, I'm sitting here. This is counted, this ud'uni or not. Imam alayhi salam in this part of this dua uses this ayah after all of these steps. Now I hope. متنجزا وعدك فيما وعدت به من الإجابة. You said call upon me. This is the loudest, the best situation that I can call upon you. And you promise to do what? Ijabah. So I called you. You have to do ijabah. You have to answer. With this preparation, the last one is important one as well. You said that. I am not saying you have to. I am not saying you do that. But I am just stating a fact. You are the one who encouraged me to come back to you. You are the one who said in his book, come back, call me. I am responding. I am merely doing what you ordered me. Then Imam asks, وَأَلْقِنِي or وَلْقِنِي بِمَعْرِفَتِكَ كَمَا لَقِيتُكَ بِإِقْرَارِي. There is a mutual thing. Oh Allah, I started counting for you. So you start by your forgiving. I count, you do the forgiving. وَارْفَعْنِي عَمَّ صَارَعَ الذُّنُوبِ. Because every sin, there is, we have in a hadith, whenever sin that a person does, a dot of darkness, of blackness will be in the heart of the moment until it is full of this darkness. Then this heart will be locked, sealed. So there is an effect. Muhammad says, not just forgive me, second wish or dua. وَارْفَعْنِي عَمَّ صَارِعَ الذُّنُوبِ. Relieve me from the consequence, from the effects of these sins. كَمَا وَضَعْتُ لَكَ نَفْسِي. The same way, look at me, look, Imam is saying, oh Allah, please do this because I'm doing this. Look at me standing in front of you in this manner, opening toward to you. So you do this. وَاسْتُرْنِي بِسَتْرِكَ. The last part of this verse. O Allah, cover me in your protection. كَمَا تَأَنَّيْتَنِي عَنِ الْإِنْتِقَامِ. Oh Allah, we have it, لَوْ أَرَدْتَ فَضِيحَتِي لَمْ تُعَافِنِي. If you wanted to disgrace me, you wouldn't have covered so far for me. Right? Imam alayhi salam says, "Oh Allah, you didn't punish me so far. You didn't punish me so far. So please keep this covering." The fact that you didn't punish me is a covering. Why? The moment I made a mistake, I deserve punishment. The moment. But you delayed that punishment as if you were covering up, protecting me. Right? So what will happen? Imam alayhi salam asks, "Oh Allah, you did the protection, you did the cover up so far. Please carry on this." Because there is one fear that we have in these different parts of Sahifa. I don't know whether we have it in this dua or not. We have in Munajat Sha'baniyya, فَلَا تَفْضَحْنِي يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عَلَى رُؤُوسِ الْأَشْهَادِ. Okay, I might, when it comes in the terms of this word, we can say, okay, 10, 20, 50, 60 years from now, I made a sin secretly, and I hope nobody is going to find about it. We're not talking about other effects. Just talking about the social, public effect of it when the people knows about it, what they will think of me. لو علمت الأرض بذنوبي لصاخت بي. If this earth, if this land that I set foot on, if this land knows about what I did, is going to devour me, swallow me. أو السماوات لهدتني. If the heavens know what I did, but I did something, sometimes we say that, okay, I did it in secret, nobody knows. Right? But there is another thing. فَلَا تَفْتَحْنِي يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عَلَى رُؤُوسِ الْأَشْهَادِ. In the first step of Qiyamah is what? Is awakening. Everybody must to woke up. One of these, that starts. So there is no privacy. Is it? Everybody is in. And everybody's, one of these steps, everybody's action is going to be shown. يوم تجد كل نفس ما عملت من خير محضرا وما عملت من سوء. Every action is going to be represented, shown to that person. So imagine there is a big screen, it's just my imagination. A big screen, okay, this is you, isn't it? فَلَا تَفْضَحْنِي يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عَلَى رُؤُوسِ الْأَشْهَادِ means, oh Allah, there are these amount of people. And you're showing it on that big screen. One of the other steps, I'm just finishing up and then 5-10 minutes for the Q&A. One of those steps, those 6-7 steps of Tawbah in Nahj al-Balagha, in the saying 417. So the first one was Nadam, was remorse. I showed that we have it in this dua as well. The second one is what? Al-Azm ala tark al-aud ilayhi abada. Having a strong will, decision of not going back. Right? We can find this even a declaration in verse 14. اللهم إني أتوب إليك في مقامي هذا من كبائر ذنوبي وصغائرها. Oh Allah, I'm coming back to you. I'm doing tawbah from the kabair of dhunub, the big dhunub and the small ones. Now, of course, I'm sure you know all about the small dhunub, the story of Prophet that went to the desert, told the companion, gather some firewood for me. They said, we are in desert. It is not a jungle that we can. He said, go and grab whatever you found. After a short amount of time, everybody came with a small amount of. Then Prophet said, pile them up. Okay, the big pile. Prophet said, you said there is no firewood here. Look how much you gathered. Then said, this is the parallel of small sins. When it piles up, it would be a very big amount. At the end of this verse, Imam alayhi salam says, Tawbah man la yuhadditha nafsahu bima'siyah. I'm going to do a tawbah. This repent is in form that I will never speak to myself about committing a sin. So this is azm. This is decision. A strong decision of not going back. Oh Allah, I promise to you, I am not going back. Okay, is there any question?
You mentioned the 6, 7 steps of the Tawbah and Najah. You just mentioned 2.
It's we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us. Today, which is the day of Milad of Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, the barakah of his birth, of this newborn, of the khushhali, of the happiness of household of Rasulullah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward us with his forgiveness today, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us be able to achieve the highest possible potential for ourselves in this month of Ramadan, in these, especially in the Layal al-Qadr, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the reappearance of our Sayyidina Mawlana Sahib Zaman Ajjallah Ta'ala Fajr Sharif faster and sooner as possible. I want to apologize to all of you if it was